I'll be inviting Professor, I usually call him Doctor, Professor and the Doctor of Economics, Sir Dari Sampson. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
All right. Welcome once again. Today's new edition, we are going to be looking at the introduction of economics, and from that, we are going to look into this course, the course content, which is look at the nature, slash the introduction of the economics. Then we also need to look into the economics school of thought, and the economics school of thought. Then we look into the definition of economics as science subject. Then we also look at the terminologies or the basic concepts that the terms used in economics. Then we are going to look into the branches or types of economics. So we are going to start with the nature or the introduction of economics. Alright, what is the existence or the purpose of this course? Or why are we doing this? Why is it that we are doing economics? That's why we are talking about the nature of the economics. Now, the nature of economics is all about, we need to do economics, we need to understand economics in order to allocate resources, to know how to allocate resources and how to solve an economic problem, and how to what? Make a profit, maximize a profit, and to ensure to produce the needs of people, to satisfy the needs of the consumers and that of the society. Now, with the knowledge of economics, it can be able to find solution to all these I mentioned. That is the economic problem, what to produce, how can I satisfy and meet the needs of people, and how can I solve the economic problem, and how to maximize my profits. Now, then this economics is now classified in a way that we have the school of thought. We have the economic school of thought. What are we saying? We are looking at the professors and the people that introduce this economics school of thought, where we have the classical school of thought. We have the classical school of thought. And we have that of the neoclassical school of thought. Now we have the classical of thought and the neoclassical school of thought. Now we are going to start with this first one. The classical school of thought is the originated class or school that introduced economics. And who are those people that are there? Where we have Adam Smith, we have Adam Smith, we have John Stuart Mill, which is also known as J.S. Mill. We also have Alfred Marshall. Now, all these are scholars. They are philosophers under the classical school of thought. Now, the first person that established or introduced economics is Adam Smith within the year of 1723 to 1790. Now, this man introduced or defined economics and published a book in the year 1776, and he said that economics is defined as the nature and causes of what? Of nature. That is telling us that economics is the nature and causes of what? Of nation. Economics is the nature of and causes of what? Of a nation. He said that economics is the nature and the causes of what? Of nation. Now look at those two words there. The nature and that of the what? Of the nation. Now when we talk being established by God because it is natural. For instance, let's use this as a scenario. Maybe there's a particular country or a nation that can only plant apple, that is an apple, and other nations or other countries cannot plant that due to the land or due to the resources in terms of nature. Now, whereby the other country that can produce or plant seed of an apple can now but harvest apple, and this apple is very essential for people, whereby people cannot do without it. I'm using that as a case study, whereby people cannot do without it. So then they have to start buying from the person that can plant or harvest that of the apple. So in that case, that nation cannot create what we call a value, that is great wealth for that nation, due to he is the only one that can plant that what apple and harvest the apple and start to distribute and sell to other nations by what? Creating value and creating wealth for the nation. Now, that is according to Adam Smith. He said is what economics is all about. After finding the problem, then you find solution to the problem by what? Creating wealth for the nation. Now, this man, which is known as John Stuart Mill, John Stuart Mill said that economics is not only about creating wealth through nature. He also said, according to John Stuart Mill said that economics is the practical production and distribution of what? Of a nation. It is the practical production and distribution of wealth of nation. That is, you need to put things together, you need to practicalize, you need to do an experiment to produce something. Just like a man that invented the light. He noticed that this person introduced light because he sees that there is a problem that needs to be solved. And to solve the problem, he brings out an innovation to create what we call a bulb. And this bulb is being created, that is, he made a lot of experiments, he made a lot of practical aspects to create this bulb, this light, in order to solve the economic problem, in order to solve the problem of what? Of people. And then, after putting this into experiments, after practicalizing all those things, then he started what? Distributing it to different households, to different companies. And the name of the person that introduced this light, this bulb, by solving the problem of that nation is Thomas Edison. And this man does that to what? To find solution to an economic problem which is due to light. Solving the problem by creating light for people to what? To see. Now, according to the John Stuart Mill, he said that it is the practical production and distribution of wealth of a nation. That's one, by the way. Why this man, Alfred Marshall, under all these people I mentioned as they under the classical school of thought, Alfred Marshall, which is within the year 1842 to 1924. Now, that is 1842, between 1842 to 1924, and Alfred Marshall introduced economics and published a book in the year now he modernized the classical school of thought by saying that economics is not about creating wealth. He also said that economics go beyond that by saying that economics has to do with the welfare of human, which means that to meet the heads of the people, Now, the man that is under one of the scholars under the neoclassical school of thought, where we have Professor Leonard Roberts. Now, this man said that economics is a science that studies human behavior as a relationship between heads, scarce means, which have alternative uses. According to this man, Professor Leonard Robbins, under the neoclassical school of thought that modernized the classical school of thought or modified the definition that's been introduced by the classical school of thought by Adam Smith, whereby the Professor Leonard Robertson now modified it by saying that economics is a science that studies human behavior as a relationship between ends, scarce means, which are alternative uses. Look at what mentioned there. We mentioned heads, we mentioned means, and we mentioned scarce. Now, look at what heads. What does this ends mean? The head there means humans want. That is, what does the people need at that moment or at that period of time? That is what we mean by these heads. Now, what do we mean by means? Means is the resources. What are those things that need to put together? That is to create something. That is the means. That is the resources. Where it refers to the availability of resources. That is also known as the factors of production. We still discuss more about that when we have the capital, the entrepreneur, the labor, and the entrepreneur. The capital, the labor, entrepreneur, and that of the land. Now, these are the factors of production under the means. Now, there we have that of the scarce. Now, what do we mean by the scarce? The scarce there means there is a limited available resources. Because these resources are scarce. Because they are limited. But due to that they are limited, but you still have to produce something. So with that limited resources, you need to create a value from that little resources that is available. So scarce there means there is what a limited available resources. Means there means the resources, which is the factors of production. Those things you need to produce. Why the head there means humans want. That is, you need to produce what the people or what human needs. That's what we mean by these heads. And there's a difference between wants and needs. Want means that is you desire. Then, and why needs means something that is necessary. You can't do without it. They are essential products, essential goods that you can't do without. That's necessity. That's what we mean by needs. That one, by the way. Now, we now move to what we call the definition of economics as a science subject. Economics as a science subject. economics. Now, economics is a science subject, but not just a science subject, but a social science subject. It is a social science subject. Why? Because it's all about to study the behavior of people and to meet the needs of the people. That is the essence of this economics. That is why it is a social science subject. To meet the needs of the people, to study human behavior, to ensure that you produce a goods that will satisfy the consumers of the people. Now, that is under economics as social science subject. So, in that case, we said that economics is a social science subject because it studies human behavior to maximize and to satisfy the needs of the people. Now we go straight to the basic concept terminologies under economics. What are the basic concepts and terminologies under economics? The first one, we are going to look at the economy. We're going to look at the economy. These are the basic concepts. The basic concepts, terminologies. We have more, but the basic one we are going to list, and which are, we have the economy. Then we have these ceteris paribus. Then we have utility, resources, goods, and services. Then we have goods and services. Then we have rational decision. We have more than this, but these are the basic concepts that is sometimes that are used under economic relating to science subject, which is social science subject. Now, when we talk about the economy, we are looking at the particular system or the particular system in which the organization operates in terms of economic activities. That is, according to today's economy, that is how how an organization or a nation operates its economy. Under this economy, there we'll be looking at where we have types of economic system, where we have the mixed economic system, we have the capitalism, we have the socialism, and these are the systems that are being operated in different nations. That is, it is an economy. That is, you need to understand what type of system they are practicing in terms of economic activities. So to satisfy and to produce or controlled and managed by any of the organization, that is what we are discussing concerning the economy. That is under the terminologies, which is the economy. Now then, when we now look at the ceteris paribus, it is a Latin phrase by the Italy, whereby there is that which means all other things being equal, all other things being equal, all other things being equal. All other things being equal. That is ceteris paribus, whereby there's no how when things are changing, the other one might remain constant. You understand? That's a variable. When the other variable is moving or going up or down, while the other will remain constant. That's what we are saying. Whereby there is a situation where they said when there's an increase in price and the demand is remaining constant, then the quantity supply, what will happen to the quantity supply? That is, the quantity supply will be affected. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that when the price of the goods remain constant,